and welcome to episode 17. Today we're going to be talking about lightning lanes and how to use them in Walt Disney World. Hi, welcome to the continuing adventures of Two Gray Mice. I'm Meg.
And I'm Rob.
And we are Two Gray Mice. Hello, folks. It seems I'm once again by myself. So, today we're going to talk about lightning lanes. They've become more complicated over the years, not less complicated over the years, contrary to whatever Disney's trying to do. Obviously, make money on lightning lanes. What I mentioned last week is that lightning lane costs have gone up. So if you're going to get a lightning lane, it's really worth it to get what you want, know what you're doing. And I'm hoping today to be able to explain the process to you so that that's exactly what happens. They can be very complicated or they can be very easy. And it really kind of depends on the time of year you're going. The busier the time of year, the harder it is going to be to get the lightning lanes you want. The faster you're going to need to be online that morning, whatever the case may be. If you're going in August, you probably won't have a problem and you may not even need them. So that's the first thing you need to take in consideration. Do you need to actually get lightning lanes? If you listen to me and Rob planning our trip in December, you'll realize that we are only planning on getting lightning lanes for one day, at least at the moment. And that's our Magic Kingdom Day. I always recommend to my clients that they get lightning lanes for their Magic Kingdom Day because that has the most rides, the most things to do. And especially if you're traveling with smaller children, you want to be able to have them not spend their day in line because they'll just drive you crazy if they are, and enjoy the day to the best of their ability. I feel that you don't need it for Animal Kingdom. You may want to buy the Lightning Lane Single Pass, which I'll get into, for Pandora. But other than that, I wouldn't bother. Up until the time that Hollywood Studios actually starts getting rides back in, from all the things that have been closing, I'm not sure I would get it for that either. The only other one, especially when it's going to be busy, and the reason why Rob and I did not get it for our trip is we're going to be spending a day and a half there. So after the first day, if we haven't seen everything we want to see or ridden everything we want to ride, then I will buy Lightning Lane for that half day. But as I said, Magic Kingdom, it's really kind of a necessity. Almost all the time, unless you're going more than one day, unless you're a deluxe hotel resident and you're going to be using the extra evening hours, or if you bought a party or the extra evening events, the lines are so much shorter then that you don't need it. And that also very often I recommend almost using especially if you buy a party or the extra evening hours, using those as your Magic Kingdom Day. So then you save a little money by not buying lightning lanes that day. So, what are lightning lanes? It is Disney's version of Skip the Line. How they work between Disney World and Disneyland are very different. In this episode, I'm really just going to concentrate on Disney World, where it's a little more complicated. In Disneyland, it's still run very much the way Genie Plus was run. You have to buy them. You can buy them in advance, or you can buy them that morning, but you can't book anything until you're physically in the park. And then you're doing them one at a time throughout your day. Relatively straightforward for Disneyland, and I recommend them for Disneyland because the parks are literally hundreds of feet apart, so you can actually use your lightning lanes in both parks on the same day very easily, something that's a little harder to do in Disney World because of park hopping. So what is a lightning lane? Okay, right? You are picking a ride, and then you're going to be picking a pre-selected time window to then go on that ride. And then you're going to be going through a faster queue so you don't have to wait in the longer standby line. They are charging you. At this point, I think I said, forgive me because I don't remember. It was $40-something now. It's going to be the top where it used to be around $35. You can buy them in advance at the 7-day mark before your hotel check-in. For on-site Disney guests, off-site Disney guests, it's 3 days before your first park day. The key is, I'll get to that. There are benefits, of course, to using lightning lanes. You have a shorter wait time in standby lines. You can pre-select 3 rides before you ever get there. You can have a little bit of peace of mind if you have somebody who's like, if I don't go on Frozen, my entire day is going to be ruined. Well, if you know you have a lightning lane for Frozen, then you're kind of ahead of the game. That's one of the reasons, or many of the reasons why I would use it. I would like Hollywood Studios. I'm only buying it at Hollywood Studios because if I did buy it, it's because Rob loves Slinky Dog. And if Rob's having a bad day or a bad trip, I can turn that entire trip around by putting him on Slinky Dog. So when do you book? Like I said, if you're staying on property, you're going to book 7 days before you check into your hotel. Okay, not your first park day. If you're staying off property, you can book 3 days before your first park day. Well, what does that mean? You haven't made a reservation. Okay, so you're arriving on Sunday. Monday, you're actually going to go to Universal. Tuesday, you're going to go to Universal. So your first park day is really Wednesday. But when you bought the tickets, they gave you a window that those tickets are good for. Usually, I think it's 7 days. Depending on how many tickets you got. A 3-day ticket, 4-day ticket. So if the first day, according to your window, that you could buy the tickets or use the tickets is Monday, then that's the first day you can book. Because when you bought the tickets, you're going to tell them what day is your first day in the park. Okay? They're good. So if you say Monday, you know your first day is going to be Wednesday. You got 4 tickets, but those tickets are good until Sunday. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you still get your 4 days in. So you want to take something like that into consideration when you're staying off property, want to buy lightning lanes, and then are buying your tickets. Use that ticket window, use window to your advantage for booking your lightning lanes. And keep that in your mind when you buy your tickets. I hope that didn't complicate anything. That's also for people that have military tickets or annual passes. It's also a 3-day window, and that's a little more complicated because you do actually have to make park reservations if you're in those 2 categories, so they know exactly when you're going to be there. The other kind of lightning lane that they came out with this year, which are in the $300 to $400 range per person per day, is called a Premier Pass. And it allows you to go on every ride in the park once without booking a time. So you walk into Magic Kingdom, you can you can go into the lightning lane and do the shorter line on every ride once in one park. So you can't park hop and use this in a different park. You're buying it by the park. Now, if you're thinking about doing a VIP tour, because you want to make sure that you get on every ride in Magic Kingdom, I would recommend instead getting a Premier Pass. It may cost you $420 per person, but a VIP tour costs you $400-something per hour, minimum 7 hours. So a VIP tour doesn't make sense unless you've got more than 7 people, because then you're kind of dividing it up and spreading that money out. Or you just have money to spare. Either one. If you have the money to spare, I will more than happily help you book a VIP tour because they're wonderful. A VIP tour does take 10 people. You can't have 11. You can have 3 up to 10. So that's the Premier Pass. I've never used it because I'm almost always park hopping. The cost of the lightning lane does vary by day, by time of year. It's going to be the most expensive on Christmas Day. It's going to be the least expensive on some random day in August. They will tell you 7 days out so you can make that decision. But in your head, just plot $35 to $40. That way, the worst thing that happens is you're under budget. And it also varies by park. So Animal Kingdom is less expensive than Epcot. They're saying Epcot and Hollywood Studios are going to start having a cost closer to Magic Kingdom's cost, which is commonly the highest cost, and you can get a lightning lane for park hopping, and that's always the highest cost, so it's whatever the Magic Kingdom cost is that day. Take that into consideration. Okay, so it's 8 days out. You've met with your family. You know what lightning lanes you want to get. At the 7-day mark, you can get 3 rides in Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. They have broken the rides up into tiers. You can only get 1 Tier 1 ride, and you can get 2 Tier 2 rides, or all 3 in Tier 2. That's up to you. Obviously, the Tier 1 rides are harder to get than the Tier 2 rides. You want 8 days out, make sure you know what you're getting, what you want, and what park you're going to be in each day. Once you've decided that, the next morning at exactly 7 a.m., you're going to be on your phone, on your Disney app, your My Disney Experience app, which you've made sure is uploaded, that you've made sure you've had a credit card in, that it's all set and ready to go so that there's no time wasted. At exactly 7 o'clock, you're going to buy your first day of lightning lanes, and then you're going to purchase or pick your 3 rides. How I do it is I start with what's most important and what's the farthest away from my check-in day. Because just like dining reservations, they're going to, most people start with their first day and go forward. If you start with your last day and go back, you may not get as much, your options on first day may not be as great, but your options on your last day are going to be awesome. So I very often end my vacation on a Magic Kingdom day or an Epcot day or whatever day and whatever park is going to be your most important to you to get those rides. Okay. Now, if you've got certain days that you have to do things and you have to be on Slinky Dog like Rob, then start with that. Go for that first. You don't have to go in order. You don't have to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can go Monday, Friday, Thursday. But I would write that all down on a piece of paper so that you know exactly what you're doing and what you're going for. Also, the other thing is, if there's 2 of you, 2 adults in the party, both of you have it. One's on one My Disney Experience, theirs. One's on the other one. And you both start at the same time. He's doing Monday, you're doing Tuesday. They're doing Wednesday, you're doing Friday. That way you have a better chance of getting what you want because you're dividing and conquering. You're surrounding the target, basically. It's very easy when you go into your My Disney Experience app. Right on the front page, you're going to see, buy lightning lanes, click. Okay. And then I'll just keep clicking and you'll see everything. Once you pick your park and you pick your day, it's going to tell you all the rides you can pick. Pick one of these, pick 2 of these, or up to 3 of these. And you're just going to go through each one. What's very helpful is I do have a lightning lane cheat sheet or guide where all of this is written down for you. So you don't have to take notes during this episode, but also I have screenshots of what is happening in the app so you can follow along in the app and you know what's next, what you should be doing, what you should be looking for. You're going to be picking one day at a time. You're going to end up with as many charges as you are picking days. So each day is a separate transaction. So you're going to go in, you're going to buy Monday, you're going to go through the whole process, you're going to close out, you're going to buy Tuesday. You're going to go through the whole process, you're going to close out, you're going to buy Wednesday. So you're going to end up with more than one charge for lightning lanes. Just keep that in mind, especially for travel advisors helping you. And all of a sudden you look at your credit card going, why do I have 5 charges from Orlando? Well, because they went ahead and they booked all this for you one day at a time. Now, let's say once you've picked your rides, 3 hours later, you realized you messed up or you got something you didn't want to get or whatever the case may be. You can go in and modify. You just literally just go in, you pick the ride, you hit modify, and you can pick a different ride. Tier 1, you still can't do anything with until the day of. You can pick Tier 2s as much as you want to. Also, the other trick that I use, I'm going to Epcot. The Tier 1 rides. We'll go through the Tier 1 rides for you. Make sure I have my little list so that I'm getting this completely and totally correct. Okay, so Magic Kingdom. Your Tier 1 rides. When it comes back will be Big Thunder Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, and Titania's Bayou Adventure. Tier 2 rides are the Barnstormer, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, The Magic Carpets of Aladdin. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Mickey's Philharmonic, Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, Pirates of the Caribbean, the Tomorrowland Speedway. Please do not waste a lane on that one. Under the Sea, The Journey of the Little Mermaid. It has 2 single pass attractions, single lightning lanes, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle. You can also buy those at 7 days. If you want to buy those, you want to buy those first when you buy your day, or on the same day. So when you do Monday and you're buying them for Monday, buy your individual lightning lanes. Some will go faster than others. Some won't. Okay. And you can modify. You can go in and modify day of once you're in the park, and you can modify it before you get there. You cannot get a refund. So once you decide to do this and you hit purchase, they're yours. So if you go and hit purchase and you can't get any of the tier 1s you want, and you end up with 3 tier 2 lanes and you're like, this is hoinky, you're stuck with it. Okay. So what I recommend is 2 things. 1, pick the earliest ride you possibly can for a tier 2 ride. Go on it as quickly as you can, because once you go on the ride, once you scan in, you can pick another ride. Day of, there are no tiers. So then you can go in and you can hopefully get your tier 1 ride. Other thing you can do is there's a website called Thrill Data. Thrill Data tracks lightning lanes, and they track what additional lightning lanes get dropped during the day. Each day, very often they will drop additional lightning lanes, especially for the tier 1s, usually at 7 a.m., first thing in the morning, and sometimes later on in the afternoon. So Thrill Data, if you look at it, you can have a good idea what, if you can't get your Slinky Dog or your Big Thunder, what are your chances of getting it day of? It's a great resource. It's one I personally use as well, and it can really help make your day a little easier as you start planning it. In Hollywood Studios, your tier 1s are Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith until it closes, I guess, in January, and then reopens again next summer as the Muppets, Slinky Dog Dash. Tier 2 is Alien Swirling Saucers, Beauty and the Beast Live on Stage, Disney Junior Play and Dance, which is actually, of course, closed right now, so that will come back on. The First Time in Forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration. If you haven't seen that, you have to go see it. It's hilarious. Even as an adult, the historians are just, they're priceless. Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, Star Wars The Adventures Continue, Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, Toy Story Mania, and as well also the new Little Mermaid show is also part of this. The single pass attraction is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. If that isn't a must-do for you, I really recommend buying the single pass. It is, I think, still the most expensive single pass attraction. I love that ride. I absolutely love that ride. Oh, when I was in Disneyland by myself, when I was in Disneyland with the curated travel collection, Rise of the Resistance had gone down, which it does often. And I was walking past it after a small rainstorm, and it opened up literally as I was walking past the entrance to the, I walked on. Just walked right on. It was the best thing ever. Anyway, Animal Kingdom, everything is a tier 2 ride. Expedition Everest, Feathered Friends in Flight, Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond, Zootopia, Better Zootopia will be part of this. Cali River Rapids, Kilimanjaro Safari, Navi River Journey. Your single pass is Avatar Flight of Passage. You don't need to buy that if you're planning on being there, either rope drop and you'll have a little bit of a wait, or at the end of the night. If it's the last ride you do, it's very often a shorter ride or a shorter wait, as long as we're not talking about like Christmas Day, when absolutely everything will have a long line. You can check crowd calendars. Just put in search Disney World crowd calendars to give you an idea of how busy it may or may not be during your vacation. It's never slow. So when you look at it and it's green, oh, it must be a slow day. It's never slow. Just so we all understand that Disney World is never slow. It's just slower than it was the day before. And on to the last park, which is Epcot. Epcot Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Soarin' Around the World are your tier 1 rides. Your 2-tier rides are Disney's and Pixar's Short Film Festival, which you don't need a line for, but is wonderful. You should always go see it. Always enjoy it. Journey into the Imagination with Figment, Living with the Land, Mission Space, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Spaceship Earth, Turtle Talk with Crush. Always fun. And my favorite ride, the Guardians of the Galaxy, is your single pass attraction. Starting in November, and then going through July of 26, Soaring Around the World will become Soaring Over America to celebrate America's 250th birthday. They made this big announcement that they were doing this, and they were going to be celebrating the big 250th birthday for America with a big 3-day event for next July for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, or 2nd, thereabouts with fireworks and everything else. And they made this big announcement, and it's one ride and fireworks 6 months later. I don't know what the big deal is. It just seems kind of strange that they made this huge announcement. The important part of the announcement was, though, in November, usually around Veterans Day, they will be announcing the military discounts for tickets and hotels for 2026. So if you are in the military and you want to plan your trip and know what you're going to be spending, those prices will be coming out in November. So now you've bought your tickets, your lightning lanes, you know what you're doing, you have your everything picked, it's day of. Your first lightning lane is at 9 o'clock for teacups, let's say. And you have between 9 and 10, according to the app, to go on the ride. Use your Magic Band, your phone, your Key to the World card, however you're going to want to do it. You scan into the ride, you ride on the teacups. The moment you scan into the ride while you're waiting on the ride, you can pick your next lightning lane, which you should do. Now, let's say you get delayed at the hotel, the kids had a fit, and it's now 10:05. So you've missed your lightning lane window. Because you missed your window, they count that ride as having been ridden, so you could then pick your next lightning lane. Now, the key to this is, in reality, you haven't missed your window. You usually have between 2 and 3 hours from the start of your window to get on the ride. So if you have a 1:30 lightning lane for Jungle Cruise, but you're enjoying lunch in Skipper Canteen still, and all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock, don't worry about it. Go 10 to 1, you're going to be a scan in and you're going to get the green light and you're going to go. We usually only turns you down after the 3-hour mark. So that is a way of making sure that you use your lightning lanes. But remember, if you haven't scanned in at the 1 hour, 2-minute mark, you can pick your next lightning lane. You really can't bundle or, get a whole bunch of lightning lanes with the new system as easily as you kind of could with the Genie Plus system. But it's easier to, because you have 3 going, to always have rides coming up. Okay? You can only pick, the other thing I forgot to tell you, if you do have park hoppers, at your 7-day mark, your 3 rides you're picking are in one park. So you're starting with a park. So if you're starting at Animal Kingdom, that's fine. And you only want it for Magic Kingdom, what you're doing in the afternoon, also fine. But then your 3 rides are all going to be in Magic Kingdom. You can't do one. You can do a single pass in Animal Kingdom, but you can't do any of the multi-pass lightning lanes in Animal Kingdom and then one in Magic Kingdom. You have to pick all your rides in one park at the early purchase date. Now, let me think. We talked about the cost and how to order them all, what the rides were, the fact that you should start with the most difficult rides or the farthest date from the day you're arriving. That if you don't get all the rides you want at the 7-day mark or the 3-day mark, you should check Thrill data for when the other drops are going to be, and you should get a ride or a throwaway ride, like they like to say, as close to opening as possible so that you can get that 7 a.m. drop or that 8 a.m. drop that morning for whatever it is. You can modify. It's very easy. You cannot get a refund for multi-pass, single pass, or premier pass. So make sure you really want it. And the only other thing I have to say is, if this is all, I think I mentioned it earlier, this is all just gobbledygook still to you, please, there's a link in the show notes to my Stan store for my Lightning Lane guide. It's free, totally complimentary to you. It will help you out. and it will explain all this. It gives you diagrams. It also comes with the day planner sheet for you that you can put your park information on it, like what park you're going to that day, what dining reservations or mobile orders you want to place that day, because remember, always mobile order. And then your lightning lanes, priorities, what you want to get for that day, and then other things that you have to do. And it's a sheet you can make a copy of for each day so that, if you have two people picking your lightning lanes, you both have like an instruction manual of what you're doing that day. And like, okay, we have lunch at 1:30 at Skipper Canteen. Don't pick a 1:15 ride or whatever the case may be. And kind of keeps you organized. And then you can also just take a picture of it and have it on your phone so that when you get down to the park, you know what you're doing. I believe that is everything. So please click the link in the show notes. Get my free lightning lane guide. It'll only help you out. That's all I got. I'm Meg Flood, and I am one gray mouse. One day I'll be back to two gray mice. Have a great week, folks. Thank you for listening to the adventures of two gray mice. We would love it if you could please leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to this podcast. For all your vacation needs at Disney, Universal, or cruise lines, please reach out to Meg at megandthemouse.com. Have a great week.